It happened in an instant. One moment, John R. Miles was a successful Fortune 50 executive. The next, he was staring down the barrel of a gun. In that split second, with his life on the line, John realized something shocking. Despite all his outward success, he felt empty. He later described it as living, in Thoreau's words, a life of quiet desperation, chasing titles and money, but feeling profoundly unfulfilled. That near-death confrontation jolted him awake. It forced him to ask, am I truly living my life, or just quietly letting it pass by? Now let me ask you, are you living each day with passion and purpose, or are you merely going through the motions? Will your future self be proud of the story you're writing, or do you secretly yearn for something more? Here's a startling fact. Studies show that 76% of people end up regretting that they didn't become the person they really wanted to be. Imagine being older and looking back, haunted by all the what-ifs and should-haves of a life not fully lived. It doesn't have to be that way. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to make sure that's not your story. We're going to ignite a spark in you that can transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. By the end of this video, you will have a blueprint for living your most intentional, passionate life. We're about to break down the most powerful principles from John R. Miles's book, Passion Struck, principles that can change your life. You'll learn how to create a clear mission for yourself and wake up each day with purpose, free from self-doubt and ready to thrive. You'll discover how to overcome fear and inner doubts, break free from whatever is holding you back, and replace that stuck feeling with momentum and meaning. We'll share eye-opening stories and examples, from Oprah Winfrey conquering her fears to Jeff Bezos adapting with bold vision, that show these ideas in action. Most importantly, after each principle, you'll get practical steps to apply it in your own life immediately. Stick with me for this entire video, and I promise you'll walk away empowered and equipped to ignite your passion and transform your life. This isn't just a book summary, it's a call to action. It's a roadmap, in John's words, to elevate your life from ordinary to extraordinary. If you implement these principles, you'll not only feel inspired, you'll know exactly how to take action to start living a more intentional, fulfilling life, starting today. Now let's dive into the core principles that will help you become passion-struck. That is, totally alive with purpose and intention. In Passion Struck, he distills their wisdom into 12 powerful principles, 6 key mindset shifts, and 6 intentional behavior changes that will propel you from an ordinary stuck life to an extraordinary one. Each principle comes with inspiring stories and actionable steps. Let's break them down one by one, and after each, I'll give you a simple action step so you can start living it. These first 6 principles are about rewiring your mindset, changing how you see yourself and your possibilities. It all starts on the inside. 1. Mission Angler. Muster the power to do something great. This principle is about finding a meaningful mission for your life and reeling it in with intention. Think of Jim McKelvey, who co-founded Square. One day, Jim saw a local artist lose a big sale because he couldn't accept a credit card. That problem lit a fire in him, a mission to empower small businesses, and it drove him to build a multi-billion-dollar company solving payments. Your mission might not be to create the next Square, but it must inspire you. Ask yourself, what goal or problem makes my heart beat faster? Cast your line and latch onto it. When you have a clear mission, you wake up with purpose and resilience because you know what you're fighting for. Action step: define your mission. Take 10 minutes today to write down one meaningful goal that excites you, something that would make you proud at the end of your life. Post it somewhere you'll see every day. 2. Brand reinventor. Never be afraid to reinvent yourself. Passion Struck teaches that you are not locked into the person you were yesterday. The most successful people evolve constantly. Just look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. At 23, he lost his football career and had only $7 to his name. He reinvented himself as a pro wrestler, became one of the biggest names in WWE, then reinvented again into a Hollywood superstar and entrepreneur. At each stage, he refused to plateau. The Rock declared, "I'm going to be a superstar," and then acted like it. He hit the gym harder, learned new skills, took on new roles. His story proves you can shed old identities and grow into new ones. Your past does not define your future. Maybe you're an accountant who dreams of being a filmmaker, or a shy student who wants to become a bold entrepreneur. You're allowed to change. Reinventing yourself might mean learning new skills, switching careers, or simply shedding habits and labels that no longer fit. Action step: embrace change. Identify one aspect of your life or career you felt drawn to change, and take a small step this week to explore it. Sign up for that class, update your resume, or reach out to someone in the field you aspire to. Prove to yourself that you can evolve. 3. Mosquito auditor. Avoid the most dangerous animal on the planet. This quirky term carries a powerful message. Eliminate toxic influences that drain your energy. John Miles calls negativity and toxic people the most dangerous animals because they can quietly sabotage your dreams. He shares how WWE superstar Thaddeus Bullard, aka Titus O'Neil, and media icon Oprah Winfrey both had to escape toxic environments to succeed. Bullard grew up surrounded by poverty and negativity. He was even labeled a bad kid. But a mentor stepped in, removed him from bad influences, and helped him see his potential. Oprah endured a traumatic childhood with abuse and loss. She decided to audit her life, cutting ties with those who brought her down and seeking out mentors who lifted her up. Think about the mosquitoes in your life. The naysayer friend who belittles your ambitions. The social media doom scrolling that leaves you angry or hopeless. The unhealthy habit that numbs you. It's time to grab the fly swatter. This principle urges you to identify the sources of toxicity or distraction and replace them with positive influences. Just as you'd remove a mosquito before it bites, you must remove or minimize contact with people and habits that suck the blood out of your dreams. Step: do a life audit. Make a list of 3 things or people that consistently drain your energy or confidence. Next to each, write one way to reduce their influence, whether it's setting a boundary, spending less time, or cutting it out entirely. Then, list 3 positive influences you want to amplify: supportive friends, books, mentors, and schedule time with them instead. Fear confronter. Realize that you are your greatest competitor. Principle 4 is all about facing your fears and self-doubts head-on. The biggest obstacle in your life isn't the competition, the economy, or anything out there. It's usually you, that voice in your head saying, "I can't." This idea challenges you to confront fear and realize your only real competition is who you were yesterday. Remember, every iconic success story involves fear. The difference is they felt the fear and moved forward anyway. For example, media mogul Oprah Winfrey, again, had to overcome tremendous self-doubt early in her career. She was told she didn't have the looks for TV, that her style was too different. Instead of letting those fears stop her, she doubled down on being herself, essentially competing only with her own potential. Or think of an athlete like Michael Phelps. He wasn't fixated on beating others' records as much as pushing his own limits. He famously said he was racing against himself, always trying to better his last time. To become passion-struck, adopt that mindset. Don't compare yourself cruelly to others. Instead, challenge yourself to grow a bit more each day. When fear of failure or not being good enough creeps in, confront it. Ask, what am I really afraid of? Often it's fear of our own capacity. But your fear is also a sign of what matters to you. Use it as fuel. Face a fear today. Identify one thing you've been avoiding because it scares you. Maybe public speaking, reaching out to a potential client, or even having an honest conversation. Take one small action today that moves you toward it. Send that email, draft the speech, speak up once in the meeting. Prove to yourself that fear will not win. Perspective harnesser. Zoom out and tap into a broader view. Sometimes the difference between feeling stuck and finding a solution is a shift in perspective. This principle is about deliberately changing how you look at your situation to gain wisdom, adaptability, and hope. John Miles illustrates this with the story of his friend, Captain Chris Cassidy, a Navy SEAL turned NASA astronaut. During the hellish Hell Week of SEAL training, Cassidy was at his breaking point, so cold, exhausted, and miserable that he wanted to quit. Then he looked over and saw a fellow trainee, a much smaller man from a tropical country, shivering uncontrollably and barely hanging on. Seeing someone who had it even harder gave Cassidy a new perspective. If that guy can endure this, so can I. He shifted from self-pity to solidarity, and it pushed him through. Years later, floating in the silence of space and looking down at Earth, Cassidy experienced the ultimate zoom out. From up there, all his previous worries looked trivial. He realized how interconnected we all are, and how minor daily stresses really are in the grand scheme. You don't need to go to space to harness perspective. You just need to remember to zoom out. When you're stressed or overwhelmed, pause and imagine looking at your life from 10,000 feet, or even from your 80-year-old future self's eyes. You'll see patterns and solutions that aren't visible on the ground. Maybe that career setback you're panicking about is actually a blip on a long journey, or an opportunity to pivot to something better. As psychologist Daniel Kahneman wisely said, nothing is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it. In other words, everything feels huge when we're up close. Perspective shrinks the fear and highlights what truly matters. Action step, practice the zoom out. The next time you feel yourself spiraling in a problem or emotion, literally step away for a moment. Take a walk or close your eyes and imagine you're an outsider looking at your life. Or fast forward to a year from now, how might you view this situation differently? Another trick, talk to someone outside the situation to get their perspective. Write down one insight you gain from this broader view. 6. Action creator. Permit yourself to dream and do. Our final mindset shift is the bridge between your dreams and reality, becoming an action creator. It's not enough to have passion or ideas. You have to act on them, consistently and intentionally. John Miles emphasizes aligning aspirations, ambitions, and daily actions so they all point to the same North Star. It's like this. Allow yourself to dream the big dream, then break it down into doable steps and start. Too many people either dream without doing, the eternal someday planners, or do without dreaming, staying busy but without purpose. We need both. A great example is again Dwayne Johnson. When he decided to become a top actor, he visualized it clearly, the dream, but then identified what daily actions would get him there. He knew building an imposing physique would set him apart, so he treated the gym like a job. He took acting classes, accepted smaller roles to learn the craft, and consistently stepped outside his comfort zone. He aligned his short-term actions with his long-term aspiration of superstardom. Over time, those daily workouts, practice sessions, and networking moves compounded into massive success. What is your big dream? To write a book, start a business, get fit, or change careers. Give yourself permission to go after it. Boldly envision the end goal, then ask, what actions can I take today to move closer? They can be tiny actions. Write 200 words a day, save $10 a week, wake up 30 minutes earlier to exercise. The key is intentional consistency. Every action is like a brick. Lay a brick each day, and eventually you have a fortress. Importantly, John Miles reminds us not to wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you feel ready. Action creates momentum, which builds confidence. Do one thing now. Literally, right after this video, do something that aligns with your big goal. Even if it's just registering a domain name for your website, calling someone who could mentor you, or writing a rough outline of your plan, do it now. Make a habit of turning each insight into an immediate action, no matter how small. Those were the first 6 passion-struck principles, the mindset shifts that light the spark within. But John R. Miles doesn't stop there. Knowing what to do internally is powerful, but you must also change how you behave outwardly in the world. So next, we have 6 intentional behavior changes, practical ways to live out your passion every day and in every interaction. These will help you lead, work, and connect with others on a whole new level. Behavior changes, 6 steps to live and lead with intention. 7. Anxiety optimizer. Be on edge without going over the edge. Ever notice how before an important event, a big exam, presentation, or interview, you get butterflies in your stomach or your heart races? That's anxiety. Most of us think anxiety is bad, something to eliminate. But Passion Struck reveals a secret of high performers. A little anxiety can be a superpower if you manage it right. It's about finding your sweet spot, alert and energized but not paralyzed. John Miles cites a fascinating study by McKinsey. Leaders who learn to operate in a state of optimal anxiety, not too little, not too much, outperformed their peers by 400%, accomplishing in 2 hours what others did in 8. Imagine that. The anxiety optimizer principle teaches us how to use stress as fuel instead of letting it burn us out. Think of walking a tightrope. On one side is panic and on the other is complacency. You want to balance in the middle, on edge without falling off. For example, retired Navy SEAL Commander Mark Devine used breathing techniques to help his team manage fear during training. When he led his SEAL trainees through brutally stressful exercises, he taught them box breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4 to stay centered. This simple habit kept their minds calm enough to perform under pressure, and his entire boat crew made it through Hell Week together. You can do the same in your life. Before a stressful task, try a breathing exercise or quick walk to channel that nervous energy. See anxiety as excitement. Public speakers, for instance, often reframe stage fright as, "I'm excited to share my message." It's the same adrenaline, but optimized. Practice your peak zone. Think of a recent time you were either too anxious to function or not motivated enough. What could you have done to find a better balance? Next time you feel jitters, try this. Take 3 deep, slow breaths to steady yourself. Remind yourself that the nerves mean you care, and that's a good thing. Then focus on one small task you can tackle immediately. This converts anxious energy into momentum. Over time, build a pre-game routine, breathing, stretching, listening to a pump-up song, whatever works, that gets you in the zone where you're energized and focused. 8. Originality embracer. Be you and adapt as needed. To live intentionally, you must embrace your uniqueness, your original ideas, values, and talents, and also stay adaptable in a changing world. John Miles says, originality necessitates adaptability. That sounds paradoxical, but here's what it means. If you're pursuing a dream that's truly yours, you can't follow a cookie-cutter path. You'll have to innovate and adjust course many times. James Dyson, for example, set out to reinvent the vacuum cleaner with a completely original idea, no bags, using cyclone technology. He believed in his unique vision when others laughed at it. But to make it real, he had to adapt through 5,127 prototypes, tweaking and learning from constant failure until his invention worked. His originality demanded perseverance and flexibility. Another angle, being an originality embracer means not conforming just to fit in. Susan Cain, author of Quiet, embraced her nature as an introvert in a world that often rewards extroverts. She adapted by finding ways to share her message, writing, speaking on her own terms, rather than trying to become a bubbly social butterfly she wasn't. Her authentic voice ended up resonating with millions. For you, this could mean proudly standing by an unconventional idea at work and being willing to iterate until it succeeds. Or it could mean choosing a life path that others don't expect and adapting to challenges rather than abandoning your uniqueness. Remember, Every great achievement, from Apple's Think Different innovations to Malala Yousafzai's brave activism, started with someone embracing originality and then adjusting relentlessly to make it count. Action step: unleash your unique idea. Write down one idea or quality that makes you different, something you've maybe been hesitant to share or act on. It could be a creative project, a business concept, a personal style, anything. Now brainstorm at least 2 ways you could bring it into the world in the next month, adapting as needed. For example, if you have an invention idea, sketch a prototype with whatever materials you have. If you have a unique perspective at work, volunteer to lead a small initiative to test it out. Don't be afraid of needing changes. Expect them. Commit to both sticking to your vision and staying flexible in your approach. Boundary magnifier. Understand that sometimes being right means standing alone. This principle is about the courage to set boundaries and uphold your values, even if it means you're on your own for a while. When you pursue a passionate, intentional life, not everyone will understand or agree. You might have to say no to invitations, quit a stable job others think you're crazy to leave, or speak an unpopular truth. That can be lonely, but it can also be powerful. Boundary magnifier means 2 things. 1. Enlarging or strengthening your personal boundaries, what you will and won't accept, and 2. Magnifying the impact of your principles by sticking to them strongly. Think of pioneers like Steve Jobs when he returned to Apple in the late 90s. He was convinced that Apple needed to focus on just a few great products rather than dozens of mediocre ones. Almost everyone else at the company disagreed at first. Jobs had to stand virtually alone in cutting product lines. It was a bold boundary to set for the company. We will only do what we can be excellent at. That decision was unpopular internally. People lost projects, teams were dissolved, but it saved Apple and proved to be the right call. In your life, being a boundary magnifier might look like telling your friends you can't go out drinking every weekend because you're working on your side business or health. You might lose some weekend buddies, but you gain progress and true friends who support you. It could mean enforcing a hard stop at work so you can have dinner with family, even if the hustle culture co-workers sneer, or having the integrity to refuse to participate in gossip or unethical practices, even if it isolates you socially. Sometimes being right means standing alone, at least until others catch up. But those who care about you or benefit from your vision will eventually come around. And if they don't, you'll still be better off honoring your purpose. Action step: draw one line in the sand. Identify one boundary you know you need in order to reach your goals or protect your well-being. It could be a time boundary, e.g. no work email after 8 p.m., a relationship boundary, e.g. not tolerating a friend's disrespect, or a personal health boundary, e.g. guarding a workout routine or meditation time. Decide right now to enforce it. Communicate it clearly to those affected, if needed. Yes, someone may be unhappy, or you might feel alone at first. But track how you feel after holding that line for a week. You'll likely feel more empowered and focused, which is exactly what will draw the right people and opportunities to you in the long run. Outward inspirer, lead by action and inspire others to follow. Passion isn't just about personal gain, it's contagious. When you live with purpose, you naturally start to inspire the people around you. This principle encourages you to intentionally use that power by demonstrating your values through action. There's a saying, speak with your feet. In other words, let what you do the talking. If you want to make a difference, start with your own 2 feet, moving in the right direction, and others will notice. Consider Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, who from day one pledged 1% of the company's equity, product, and employees' time to charity. People were inspired by this unconventional commitment. It wasn't just a memo. Benioff actively volunteered and gave, modeling the behavior. Now, thousands of companies have adopted that 1-1-1 philanthropy model. Or think of Malala Yousafzai, who as a young girl simply insisted on going to school in defiance of extremists. Her bold action, continuing to study, speaking out for girls' education, inspired the world and sparked a movement. You don't have to be famous to be an outward inspirer. Maybe at your job, you start openly prioritizing ethical choices or positive attitudes, and you notice co-workers gradually doing the same. Maybe you begin a fitness journey, and your family sees your energy and joins you on evening walks. When you lead by example, you give others permission to pursue their own passions. And here's the beautiful part. Inspiring others in turn fuels you. It reinforces your purpose because you see it making a difference. It's a cycle of positivity. Inspire through one deed. Think of a value or goal you care about and one action that would show, not tell it to others. Do that action this week, publicly, or with others involved. It could be as simple as starting a volunteer day at work, sharing your artwork online to encourage others, or mentoring someone in an area you're skilled. Don't do it for praise, do it to set things in motion. Watch how even a small act, like organizing a community cleanup or openly thanking people who often go unappreciated, can create a ripple effect. Be the spark.
Whether or not you hold a formal leadership title, at some point you influence others, at work, in your family, in your community. How you lead can either ignite people's passion or snuff it out. John Miles advocates becoming a gardener leader. Picture a gardener. They prepare the soil, plant seeds, water and nurture, but they don't pull on the seedlings to make them grow. They have eyes on to monitor progress, but hands off to let nature or people do their thing. In leadership terms, this means stop micromanaging, start trusting. Create the environment and training for people to thrive, then step back and let them own their work. This concept was inspired by figures like General Stanley McChrystal, who led special forces. McChrystal learned that in the chaos of war, a top-down commander can't control everything. He had to act more like a gardener, share a clear vision, the mission objectives, equip his teams with information and resources, then give them autonomy, hands off, to make decisions in the field. He described it as eyes on, hands off. The result? His teams became more agile and empowered, often achieving results no centralized command and control approach could. Keith Crack, a business leader, former CEO of DocuSign, similarly talks about hiring great people and letting them run, intervening only to remove roadblocks or offer guidance. When you trust people with responsibility and freedom, they take ownership and show more initiative. In everyday life, being a gardener leader could mean, if you're a parent, stop hovering over your kids' every move. Give them safe space to learn and fail. Just keep a supportive eye. If you manage a team, set clear goals, then let your team surprise you with their creativity. Don't nitpick every detail. You'll not only get better results, you'll mentor others to become leaders themselves. Empower someone today. Identify one person, a colleague, a family member, etc., whom you can mentor or trust with more responsibility. Instead of doing a task yourself or dictating each step, guide them and then let them handle it. Say you normally plan the family vacation entirely. This time, let your teenager plan one day of the itinerary. If you lead a project, delegate an aspect of it to a team member who's shown potential and make it clear you trust their judgment. Be available for help, but resist the urge to take over. Watch them flourish. Your mantra, cultivate, don't control.
The final principle is about living intentionally in each moment, continually refocusing on what truly matters. Being a conscious engager means you don't let the noise of life derail you from your purpose. You engage deliberately with your tasks, your relationships, and your choices. In practical terms, focus. In a world of endless distractions, this might be the hardest skill of all. John Miles uses the phrase, "keep the main thing," which is a reminder to always return to your core priorities. For example, if your main thing is to write your novel, being a conscious engager means when it's writing time, you are fully in it. Phone off, doubts parked, mind present. If your main thing this evening is quality time with family, you engage by truly listening and being there, not half working or staring at your phone. It's about intentional presence. A great real-world example, when Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he saw the company scattered, chasing too many things. He famously drew a 2x2 grid on a whiteboard, the main things Apple would focus on. Everything else was cut. That ruthless focus brought Apple back from the brink. You can do the same with your life. Figure out the few things that matter most: your health, a passion project, key relationships, spiritual life, whatever is core for you, and consciously prioritize them. Engage deeply in those, and let the rest drop away, or delegate where possible. Also, practice mindfulness. When you're doing something important, do that thing, and when your mind wanders or shiny objects appear, gently steer back on course. This principle ties together all the others. If you know your mission, confronted your fears, set boundaries, etc., now it's about executing daily with vigilance and heart. Action step: identify your main things. Write down the top 3 priorities in your life right now. Examples: finish my degree, improve my health, nurture my family. These are your main things. Now for each, list one practical way you can engage more fully or frequently with it. Maybe schedule a fixed hour for it, daily or weekly. Also, list one distraction you will cut to protect that focus, e.g., no social media during study hour, or a cut-off time for work emails to have family time. Starting tomorrow, whenever you find yourself drifting onto something that isn't one of your main things, catch yourself and refocus. Over time, this laser focus will become a habit, and your most important goals will progress like never before. The goal of all these steps is to put you back in the driver's seat of your life. Instead of a pinball knocked around by circumstances, you become the player, pulling the plunger, aiming at your targets, and yes, adapting when the ball bounces in unexpected ways, but always with intentionality. No more days where you collapse into bed thinking, "What did I even do today?" Instead, you'll end each day knowing you moved forward on what matters to you. Bit by bit, that's how you achieve big dreams, not by luck or random bounces, but by consistent, focused effort. A life of purpose is built one intentional day at a time. As John Miles puts it, passion-struck living means shifting from reactive to proactive, from scattered to focused, so you can step into your significance and reshape your success. Application, putting principles into practice. We've covered a lot of powerful ideas. Now, how do you apply these principles in your daily life? Let's break it down into some practical steps you can start implementing right away. Think of this as your personal action plan to become passion-struck. 1. Define or refine your mission. Take some time this week to write down a personal mission statement. It doesn't have to be perfect or grandiose. Just answer, what do I want my life to stand for? What is my purpose right now? It could be as simple as to continuously learn and use my creativity to help others, or to provide a loving life for my family and build my own business that improves lives. The act of defining your mission will give you clarity and motivation. Stick this mission somewhere you can see it daily. This helps you stay focused on your ideal self and gives you a North Star when making decisions. 2. Conduct an influence audit. Make 2 quick lists, one of people and habits or inputs that lift you up, and one of those that drag you down. Decide on one concrete change for each list. For the negative side, choose one person or negative habit to limit. Maybe you'll choose to spend less time in that toxic group chat. Or you'll stop doom-scrolling news late at night that leaves you anxious. For the positive side, find a way to increase exposure to something or someone uplifting. Perhaps schedule a call with that mentor who inspires you, or join an online forum of entrepreneurs or artists, whatever your passion is, to surround yourself with encouragement and good ideas. By actively managing these influences, you'll create an environment that naturally propels you toward your goals. 3. Practice mindful self-talk. This week, pay attention to your inner dialogue. Literally notice the words you say to yourself. Each morning, set an intention to encourage yourself throughout the day. You might even pick a phrase or mantra, like I am capable of great things, or progress, not perfection. When you catch self-criticism, pause and reframe it on the spot. For example, if you think, I'll never be able to do this, consciously change it to, this is challenging, but I can learn and improve. I've overcome hard things before. It might help to imagine your best friend, or someone who believes in you, is speaking. What would they tell you in that moment? Over time, these little mental shifts create a habit of resilience and optimism. You'll start to notice that your default thoughts become more supportive and less defeating. 4. Set one new boundary and honor it. Identify one area where saying no or drawing a line could instantly reduce stress or free up energy for you. Maybe you need to set a boundary at work like, I will not check work email after 8 p.m. Or a personal boundary like, I will dedicate Saturday mornings to my passion project and not commit to social plans then. Whatever it is, communicate it to those it may concern, your boss, your family, your friends, in a respectful but firm way. Then stick to it. Protect that boundary. Treat it as non-negotiable. You might worry about disappointing others, but remember your yes to this boundary is a yes to your well-being and dreams. Most people will adapt. They might even respect you more. And you will start to build self-respect because you're treating yourself like someone whose time and values matter. 5. Live by design, not by default. Plan your week. Before the week starts, say Sunday evening, plan out some intentional time for your priorities. Schedule appointments with yourself for the things that matter. Whether it's going to the gym, working on a business idea, reading a good book, or spending time with family. Also identify likely pinball moments. For example, if you know you get easily sucked into social media after dinner, plan an alternative like a walk or a hobby at that time to prevent a 2-hour scroll. Perhaps implement a simple rule like no phone during meals, or a 30-minute block each day to just think or journal without inputs. These little structures will keep you from falling into autopilot. Each day, start with intention. Decide what will make the day feel fulfilling and successful to you, and tackle that first if you can. By pre-designing your days and weeks even a little, you transform from reactive to proactive. You're no longer the pinball, you're the player. Remember, consistency is key. These principles work best when practiced regularly. It's like building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger your intentional living muscle becomes. At first, setting boundaries or shutting down your inner critic might be difficult, but every time you do it, you're training yourself to live more passionately and intentionally. Don't get discouraged if you slip up. We all fall back into old habits sometimes. Just reaffirm your mission and get back on track. Celebrate small wins. Each time you say no when it's the right thing to do. Each morning you wake up and follow through on your plan. Each negative thought you catch and reframe. Those are victories. Over weeks and months, these small victories compound into a new life. Finally, consider finding an accountability partner for this journey. Maybe a friend who also wants to grow, or a community, even an online one, focused on self-improvement. Share your goals and check in with each other. It's amazing how much further we go with support and a little accountability. Applying these principles will take your life to a new level of purpose. You'll start feeling the changes, more clarity, more control, more confidence. Bit by bit, you'll become the author of your life story, not just a character in it. And that is a truly passion-struck life, one where you wake up excited and go to bed fulfilled, knowing you moved in the direction of your dreams. You've now been given the tools to ignite your passion and transform your life. But tools only matter if you use them. This is your moment. The moment to decide that your life from here on will not be one of quiet desperation, but of purpose and joy. Think back to John R. Miles standing at gunpoint, realizing he wasn't truly living. He used that moment as a turning point. Consider this moment right now as your turning point, minus the danger, thankfully. You don't need a crisis to change. You just need the determination to start. Every single person you admire, every success story began with a decision to try, to step beyond fear. The people John interviewed, from Oprah to astronauts and generals, are made of the same stuff as you.
It's all yours.
They simply chose to live with passion and refuse to stay stuck. Oprah once said, "There is no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." If you've been playing small, consider this your invitation to dream bigger and act on those dreams. Let's visualize for a second. Picture your life a year from now after applying these principles. See yourself waking up with excitement because you have a clear mission that matters to you. You hop out of bed without that weight of dread or dullness. You're surrounded by people who support and energize you. That critical voice in your head has softened into an encouraging coach. You actually believe in yourself, and it shows. You're doing work or projects that align with your purpose. You've learned to say no to what drains you, and in doing so, you're saying yes to opportunities that make you grow. You feel healthier, you have more energy, and you actually enjoy the present because you're not constantly anxious or distracted. This isn't a fantasy, it's within your reach. It's the life that Passion Struck guides you toward, step by step. You deserve this kind of life, and you are capable of creating it. It won't happen overnight, and that's okay. What matters is that you start and never stop. Keep reinventing when needed. Keep aligning your world with your values. Keep conquering that inner voice. Keep defending what's precious to you. And keep focusing on what truly counts. Consistency and heart will get you there. There's a beautiful quote by Howard Thurman that I love. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Boo-boo-voo.
Imagine if every one of us pursued what makes come alive. What a different world it would be. Your passion, no matter what it is, when pursued, doesn't just fulfill you, it becomes a light for others as well. When you come alive, you inspire those around you to do the same. Your courage to change is contagious. So I'm going to finish with the same bold challenge that John R. Miles poses. Are you ready? It's time to live life passion struck. No more waiting for someday or hoping someone gives you permission. Give yourself permission to chase what excites you, to design a life you love, and to become the person you know you can be. The only thing left to do is take that first step, however small, and then the next and the next. Before you know it, you'll have momentum. You'll look back and marvel at how far you've come. Life is too precious and too short to live it any other way than intentionally and passionately. This is your wake-up call. Ignite that spark in you and let it grow into a flame. Make your future self proud, starting today. You've got this. Now go out there and live your life with all the passion you've got. If you found value and inspiration in this video, please hit the like button. It really helps this message reach more people. Comment below and share your biggest takeaway from these principles. I'd love to know which idea resonated most with you or what change you're going to make in your life. Let's get a discussion going. Your comment might inspire someone else. And subscribe to the channel for more motivational and life-changing content. Join our community of passionate, growth-minded individuals. We're on this journey together. Don't forget to share this video with a friend or anyone you know who might feel stuck or needs a spark of inspiration. You never know, it might be exactly what they need to see today. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Now go out there and ignite your purpose. Live boldly, live intentionally, and stay passion-struck. I'll see you in the next video.